There is one organ which causes high blood pressure, and it's not what you think. And there are specific exercises you can use to target and fix your blood pressure easily. No diet, lifestyle changes, or medication required. Check the link in the description below, but for now, today's question.
The question: my father has high blood pressure too often. How can I help him best? Answer by Leanne Heisey. One either has high blood pressure or one doesn't. So what do you mean by has high blood pressure too often? Do you mean his blood pressure results varies? That it is well controlled, less than 140/90ths of a millimeter Hg, and then he stops his med so it rises again, as it always will? You can't cure high blood pressure? Some patients just stop using their prescribed meds due to side effects or too high costs, without telling their doc, even reneging on follow-up appointments because they're mad at their doc, or are ashamed of what they did, while they should have discussed this with their docs so other, or cheaper, meds could have been prescribed. Do see the excellent Michael Soso's answer to my father has high blood pressure too often. How can I help him best? He needs to have a medical doctor helping him to deal with his high blood pressure, after it has been ascertained that it really is elevated by repeating the taking of blood pressure with 1 to 2 minute intervals until one finds two values less than 5% apart. The mean value of these two we consider to be the true value of that moment, this because the first measured value often is falsely elevated e.g. because the person is tense because of her/his blood pressure being taken. One raised mean value isn't enough to diagnose high blood pressure. At different times this set of measurements need to be repeated, only after the mean values of 4 successive measurement is done above 140/90ths of a millimeter Hg. Can one diagnose hypertension? From the 1980 Australian therapeutic trial in mild hypertension, see http://www.thelancet.com/journal. We know that around 20% of the participants after having a too high blood pressure on 3 consecutive occasions, from the 4th on all other measurements were lower than that needed to be included in the trial, so weren't included. Buying a properly validated home blood pressure monitor for around $100, the list of which can be found on Dable Educational Trust. Vertical bar monitors for self-measurement of blood pressure, SBPM, can be helpful. Don't buy an cheapo unvalidated one because it was cheap. Not being validated, you don't know what the values measured means. That is what unvalidated means. If high blood pressure has been properly diagnosed, then you can help him by encouraging him to take his meds regularly, not thinking that he can stop his meds whenever his blood pressure has normalized due to drug use. An often heard misconception: you should encourage him to. Numbers taken from implementing lifestyle medicine in hypertensive patients. All the best. Answer by Angela Punis. Could it be something that runs in his family? I'm sure they will help get it under control in hospital. At least he can have all sorts of tests done now rather than having to go back and forth to the GP. Video here: blood pressure exercises vs LCB. Yes, being self-employed can be stressful sometimes. DH currently suffering from high BP due, we think, to stress over his current contract. It's great that your brother is able to step into the breach. What a lovely close family you are. I'm sure that your dad wouldn't want you to worry too much about him. Expat at your dad's pharmacy. How awful. I suppose dad just doesn't want to admit that he is getting to an age where he would need to take medication for hypertension. Like I have said, he is a very young 58 and mind is his body. But I suppose this will make him sit up and realize that he really needs to be on the meds to get it under control. Does anyone know if he will have to be on for life or just until his BP is under control? Once he is on meds, he needs to wear a medical alert bracelet or necklace and perhaps carry a card in his wallet with that he is on and the dosage. Clinical hypertension is a serious disease which needs to be treated as such, particularly because it can predispose one to the development of coronary artery disease and heart attack, hence its moniker the silent killer. But God, that must have been so scary. Expat. What an awful experience. I will get him one of those bracelet things. That is a really good idea. Can you get them from a chemist? Essential hypertension runs in my family and it is something that should be taken seriously. They often call it the silent killer as it often goes undetected. The short of the long is if it is left untreated it can lead to strokes or heart attacks. Read through this. It might give you more insight into your dad's situation. It is part of aging, but with medical care he will be fine. Lucky it was spotted. Is he overweight, as this can add to the prob? Sure, he will be fine and looking forward to his new grandchild. No, fun getting old, but with care he will be fine. I am sure he will need to take the meds always from now, but that's a small price to pay if it makes him better. Good luck and enjoy your new baby. Only just saw this? My DH is quite badly hypertensive. There are quite a lot of different causes and they don't all respond to the same meds. He also has atrial fibrillation from time to time, so is on quite a drug cocktail. I don't see any mention in the tea read about salt/sodium. Depending on what sort of hypertension it is, cutting that right back can be very helpful. I'm surprised it wasn't suggested. Makes quite a difference to DH. Also plenty of exercise, mainly of the brisk walking/swimming type helps. Answer by Sneha Gupta. Fathers are so important in our life because he is the one and only hero who holds our hand and teach us to face the hurdles exist in life. Tips to control high blood pressure. Sometimes, the level of your blood pressure temporarily reaches up to high for several factors and conditions, including stress, smoking, being overweight or obese, lack of physical activity, too much alcohol consumption. Therefore, you need to take some steps to successfully control your high blood pressure, hypertension, by adopting a healthier lifestyle like 1. Healthy diet, 2. Regular exercise, 3. Weight loss, 4. Avoid sodium, salt, 5. No smoking and drinking, 6. Reduce stress. How to prevent from high blood pressure. People with high BP mostly advised to follow such points mentioned above. Thereby, you must need to follow the same. Apart this, if you can then buy a BP monitor that nowadays easily available at market or at online healthcare products store. But having a BP monitor enables you to keep tracking your father's blood pressure level at home and to visit simultaneously a doctor's office, either if he is your family doctor or closed ones. Regular checking make you aware for your father to take a better care accordingly that you can do successfully possible by giving him a proper healthy diet and making him convinced to do some exercise regularly. You can find here some best BP monitor online for your father. For more information, read a full article below mentioned. How to control high blood pressure, hypertension. Fathers are so important in our life because he is the one and only hero who holds our hand and teach us to face the hurdles exist in life. So, we always need to take care of him by all the way. Although we are not able enough to fulfill his sacrifices, he did for us, but what if we could be able to pay more attention by taking a properly care for him?